So I started a new project, and let's start off by creating an array. So let's declare, or let's create an array of integers. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to say int, and of course we need to provide a name. So let's call this maybe values, and we'll use the open and close square bracket, and then we will simply, using curly braces, provide the number of inputs, number of values that I want to go into the array. So let's say I want 11, 22, maybe 33, 44, and so on, right? It's 55. Okay, so this is my array. So as far as the compiler is concerned, the name values refers to these 5 items. So of course I now need to be able to access these items. And by the way, I don't have to always create an array this way, where I always initialize it. I can create it another way, but I'll leave that for later. Okay, so one thing I want you to notice when it comes to formatting, beginners tend to always leave no spaces in between. Okay, and this is not what I recommend. Whenever you are creating array elements, after the comma, leave a space. Okay, after the comma, leave a space. That's what I want you to get in the habit of doing. Okay, good. All right, so with that out of the way, I want us to now actually look at how we can access the elements in the array. So to do that, I'll just simply use cout. Okay, and since cout expects a value, well, we can just say values 0. Okay, and that way the compiler obviously will look into the array at position 0, and then it will find 11. Okay, and so if I want 22, then I will have to actually say values 1. Likewise, value 2, value 3, and value 4. Okay, now why did I stop at 4? Well, because I have 5 values. Okay, and remember, the formula is you look at how many there are and you subtract 1. All right, so let me make a comment on that. The position of the last element is at position length minus 1. Okay, that's something you must always remember. Let me okay, all right, good. So let's save this. Let's compile. Now, previously I showed you to compile by clicking this button here, but I'm going to avoid doing that. Going forward, I'm going to use the command line. I'm going to use the terminal. Okay, so I will go to terminal here and say new terminal. Okay, and I'm going to simply say g++ and the name of my file, which is main.cpp. Okay, all right, and that's it. Now notice it will produce the executable. Okay, and so for me to run this, I'm going to say ./a.out, the same name that this file has. Okay, now when I press enter, right, I get exactly what I expected. Now one thing I want to make note of with this a.out file, I am using Linux. I am using a different operating system than Windows. So if you're using Windows, then you will not see a.out. Instead, you will see something like so you will see something like this, right? This is what you will see. You will see something called a.exe. And in that case, you will have to then say a.exe. Okay, so that's what you have to do if you are using Windows. Okay, I am not using Windows, so my operating system, it names it as a.out. Okay, and so for me, that's what I run, a.out. For you, it might be a.exe. Okay, all right. Now what happens if I decide to go past what is legally possible in terms of the array? We only have up to 55. What if I ask for something that is past that, right? Obviously we don't have a position 5, right? Because remember, all I said was that there is only up to position 4. Now if I compile this and I run it, okay, then I get this random number here. If I run it again, right? Now what I'm trying to get across here is that you never want to go past the valid range inside your array or in your array. Okay, yes, I could easily ask for position 10, but there is no position 10. What do I get? Well, let me compile the program and let me run it again. Now we get a negative value. Okay, so what I'm trying to get across to you is whatever value you get for this illegal operation, it's undefined. Nobody knows what it's going to be. You only find out after you run the program. So this is what we want to avoid. Okay, we want to avoid this type of code where we're asking for items in an array that does not exist, that is way past the bounds in the array. Okay, so remember, the array only has 5 items. The last one is at position 4. If you ask for anything else after that, it's unknown what you'll get. In many instances, your program will just crash, or it will provide you with the wrong result, which is not what we want. Now, let me go back to this whole idea of compiling, okay, before I wrap up. So notice whenever I make a change to my program, right, the first thing I do, let's say I want 11, the first thing I do is I save my changes. How do I know I need to save my changes? Well, because if I look here, there's a white dot. Okay, the white dot in Visual Studio Code always tells you that your changes have not been saved. So I'm going to click in here, right at the top, and I'm going to Control S. So Control S allows me to save. And then step 2, I will have to compile my work again. So this is my program. I have to compile it again. Okay. So every time you make a change to your program, you need to first save it, and then you need to compile the program again by running G++ and the name of the program. Okay. And then after you have the executable, this file here, you then run this executable by saying / and the name of the executable. Okay, good. Now these are the 2 steps, and so you might be asking, that's a lot of typing, why don't I just press this button which does both of those steps for me? Well, one, I think it's kind of messy when you click the button, right? You see a bunch of you have to choose the compiler, right? And then you have to run it. Right, see here, a bunch of stuff might happen, right? And then, well, right? And then it's doing some work, and then I have to remember that, oh, okay, I need to go back here to the terminal. Okay, and then I see the result, right? So yeah, I think it takes a lot of work to just click this button, right? Take some time as well, and eventually you get the result. All right, a lot of work. So what I prefer to do, and which I want you to do, is to use the terminal. All right, so come here, make my change, right? Compile it, name of the file right here, main.cpp, compiles, then I run it. All right, 2 steps, done, and much faster, much cleaner. Now the second important step why I want you to do it this way is because I want you to understand what clicking this button does for you. Okay, so because you're learning about the whole process, it makes sense to do it using the terminal. All right, because a lot of times in real environments where you go to work, a lot of the tools that you use don't have a button that says run, right? Most of the tools, all they give you is the terminal, and you have to type some command. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to use that approach, to use the terminal so that you understand how things are really working at the bottom level. Okay, so that's enough talking for one video. I'll see you in the next video where we continue working on these arrays. See you then.